Welcome to another episode of The Grass is Green in Pittsburgh, a podcast about events, organizations, opportunities, and spaces that make Pittsburgh such a wonderful place to find, build, and strengthen community. I'm your host, Julianna Warner. For this episode, I checked out the Behind the Song series, a songwriter showcase that features amazing touring and local musicians, hosted and organized by local singer-songwriter Mirabelle Skipworth. The Behind the Song series is an event that brings together songwriters from all over, including right here in Pittsburgh, to showcase their music. I asked Mirabelle how she got involved in the Pittsburgh music scene and about her inspiration for the Songwriter series.
A lot of it is I just know a lot of really great songwriters, both in Pittsburgh and outside of Pittsburgh, just through touring and playing around different states, and also just getting a lot of people who reach out to me and are having a hard time booking in Pittsburgh. So I wanted to create a space where really great songwriters could come and play their music to a good audience without them having to worry about how much draw they have in the area, and give them the audience and then give the audience them. But also, I think my philosophy about a good, healthy music scene is, and there's kind of two sides of it, and one side of it is you need a space where people can grow together and space where people can gain experience singing their songs in front of other people and becoming better at writing. But you also need something to grow to. So that's why I have the showcases, which I keep the bar super high for who I book. And the bar is not based on how many Instagram followers you have, how much acclaim you have, but purely artistic merit. Some really great songwriters, really great performers. And then others, songwriters who don't have quite as much experience, can go and see these shows and look at it as something to aspire to, and to grow towards and to get better because of.
Can you just tell me a little bit about your involvement in the Pittsburgh music scene?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I moved here about 2.5 years ago and was very involved with the music scene back in the Chicagoland area. Just kind of came up in that scene, and then eventually started to transition into doing songwriter things on a smaller scale. And then I moved here, and I was really nervous because you move to a different place and you're I got to kind of rebuild what I did in a different state. But it actually happened a lot quicker because I was able to enter with more confidence. I was not a kid anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I initially met a lot of my friends who are songwriters and my bandmates at a acoustic cafe at Mr. Small's. And from there kind of formed my own community that branched out of that. And now I perform around town as a songwriter and with the band sometimes, and put on events.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the name of your band?
When it's the full band, I go by Mirabelle Skipworth and the Brink of.
The four incredible musicians who played the night I attended were Tucker Muetzel, a local Pittsburgh musician and the songwriter behind the band Holy Hers; Anthony Jardine, another local artist who works at the Pittsburgh Winery, one of the many amazing music venues in town; Julia Finegan, who traveled here from Philly for the event; and Katelyn Fajardo, who came all the way from Charleston, South Carolina. Here's a little clip of Katelyn Fajardo playing one of her songs that night.
Stitches out, at least right now. It's close enough. It feels and waits a bit like this. It's close enough. It feels and waits a bit like
I was there, and I had a very inspiring experience at the Behind the Song series. But can you tell me your experience of it?
What's really cool about it is oftentimes when you're like the person running the event, it can be a very stressful experience because you're trying your best to make it a not stressful experience for everyone else. But I had a great time.
Awesome.
I think a lot of it was just I had so much faith in the bill that I had booked that like I could just like sit back and just experience it.
They were amazing.
Everyone was so good. I was just like, I was so excited the whole time because I had this sense of pride. You know, I had nothing to do with any of their talents, but like, you know, you're like proud of your friends.
Yeah. After the show on the night I went, everyone gathered in a circle outside and a guitar was passed around as the featured artists as well as members of the audience played originals and covers for several hours. This was a beautifully spontaneous and unstructured part of the event. Mirabelle and I talked about how much we loved that part of the evening.
I think we were singing songs till 10 and and it was a great evening. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so it was the show where each performer played 4 songs.
Yeah, 5 songs for about 25 minutes a piece.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we all migrated outside and sat in a circle and the guitar passed around for the next few hours. Yeah. Like without break. It was so good.
Yeah. It's awesome. And when there's like people who are given the guitar that never perform out, that like they feel comfortable in the space, it feels welcoming, you know, and it doesn't feel like there's like a ton of really great musicians, but you don't have to be aficionado to like play a song.
Yeah, it was very welcoming. Yeah. Different levels, different styles, different backgrounds, but I was just so excited next time the guitar passed to someone new. I was like, what's it gonna be? Yeah. Here's a little clip of Mirabelle herself playing one of her songs and a few people who knew the song joining in.
I'm hoping to do more through the Behind the Song series title and put it out there that I want this like space or spaces to fill in the gaps where there aren't things already happening, and also support what already is happening. I want to support other songwriter events that are occurring in town. There are other things happening and connect people with those spaces as well. I think that's really important. It's not like a us against them kind of ordeal. It's all like really important and
more collaborative.
Music shouldn't be competitive. I think truly we grow together. You think about like the old folk scenes and how like in the 60s a lot of those folk songwriters that got really big were all hanging out together, you know? Right. And they kind of grew and became successful together. And I think that's truly how music scenes bloom. One person grows and is like, hey, other friend who I think you got something going on, let me like pull you up with me, you know, and support you in it. And so that we can do this for the rest of our lives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to be surrounded by amazing musicians, you don't want to miss this event. Something else to look out for is the Behind the Song Meetup, a free event also organized by Mirabelle, where songwriters meet on the first Thursday of every month at the Pittsburgh Winery to share music that they're working on.
I was like very pleasantly surprised when we did our first one. Danny Rechtenwald was our feature songwriter, and people had so many questions. And I think that's when I realized, I was like, oh, this is something like people really want, you know, and really value like other people's experiences.
Do audience members also get a chance to share a song at the meetup? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a very casual environment. So I wanted to have some kind of weight, but also be casual enough where people feel comfortable sharing like unfinished songs and like songs they aren't performing out quite yet. So like here's a space where like anyone can come to and anyone can experience community, and then to grow with each other and to like, you know, eventually get to play really awesome shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Behind the Song series, there's a suggested donation which goes straight to the musicians. You can find out when the next Behind the Song series event will take place by following them on Facebook and Instagram. Mirabelle mentioned that if you want to be on the mailing list, you can message her through either the Facebook or Instagram page, and she'll sign you up for it. You can also find Mirabelle's music on all streaming services. We'll put links in the show notes. To close out the episode, here's a clip from Tucker Muetzel's set.
Well, the leaves will yellow and fall. Heed the cold, old man, winter's call. But I ain't no tree, and my colors, you see, will stay the same shade of dawn. As I push away those that I care for.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Grass is Green in Pittsburgh. Please rate, review, share, subscribe, and stay tuned. And follow us on Instagram at grassisgreenpgh. And remember, we only feature activities that I've tried myself, so what should I check out next? Send us an email at contact@grassisgreenpgh.com or submit a form on our website, grassisgreenpgh.com. We hope you've been inspired to explore, connect, and contribute to the vibrant mosaic of events and spaces that make Pittsburgh such a wonderful place to live. Catch you next time.
So sorry, that's all you get, honey. I'm just a one-trick pony, my love.